to the war. So I want to know, where did you get the information?
Okay. First of all, you must remember that Mr. Ulmer, when he testified before the Winograd Commission, which was assigned to investigate what went wrong in the war, he acknowledged that for 6 months we were preparing to attack. Number two, there were many Israeli military people who said the war had been planned since May 2000. It went back as far as 7 years, the planning. Now, it is true, you didn't prepare very well.
They didn't train, and the arsenals were empty, so maybe you know something that they didn't.
I don't think, young man, I don't think your arsenals were empty. You managed to kill 1,200 Lebanese, of whom about 1,000 were civilians. You managed to inflict several billions of dollars of destruction in Lebanon. You managed to destroy all their bridges. In fact, you were so impressive that according to Human Rights Watch, you managed to blow up every supermarket in the south of Lebanon. It was a very impressive show of destruction. Where you failed, alas, is when it came to the ground war, because the Israelis did not want to fight with Hezbollah. Your 40,000 person army, faced with those 1,500 Hezbollah guerrillas, panicked. And that's why you lost the war. Not because your arsenals were empty. As to the question about the freedom of the press, let's for argument's sake say that's true. I don't want to argue it. Okay, yes, wait. I don't want to argue it. But you must also recognize what a huge disgrace that means about Israeli society. Because in other societies, you have to lie to the people and tell them it's not happening. We're not killing civilians. We're not torturing. We're not demolishing homes. We're not imposing these brutal sanctions. But in Israel, you can openly say it, openly report it, openly boast about it, and no one cares. That's a very shameful reflection in Israeli society.
That you're against freedom of press. That's a shame.
First of all, I just want to thank you for coming out today. Just one last Mr. Finkelstein, first of all, I want to thank you for coming out here today and sharing your perspective with us. As a human, I'm very concerned about the well-being of all people equally. The group that has invited you tonight to speak makes the claim that their cause is not anti-Semitic, only anti-Zionist. Yet you have expressed support for organizations that have repeatedly been criticized on an international level, not only for their anti-Zionist, but also for their anti-Jewish rhetoric and action. For example, earlier this year...
No, let him speak. Let him speak.
For example, earlier this year, in an interview on Lebanese TV, you expressed your support for Hezbollah and their fight against Israel. Hezbollah, as many of you know, was held responsible for the bombing of the Jewish Community Center in Argentina in 1994. So my question is for you, yes or no, do you believe that Hezbollah's actions go beyond the lines of anti-Zionism and constitute anti-Semitism? And if so, how do you justify your support for an anti-Semitic organization?
Okay, fair enough question. On the factual issue, there is no evidence that they were behind the blowing up of the Jewish Center. That's a matter of contention. But you know what? I'm not going to bother with it. I won't argue it. I'm going to give you my point of view. First of all, just as a matter of record, the interview that I did was an hour and a half. what you saw on the memory and the MRI. Their memory version was about 6 minutes. However, I will also concede, I think it was basically accurate, what they excerpted. So what did I say during the interview? Some of you saw it, so you could confirm. If you didn't see it, it's right on my website. I said, quote, I have no interest whatsoever in Hezbollah as a political organization. I said that's a problem for the Lebanese people and for them to decide. I have only one interest and one concern. Do the Lebanese people, does Hezbollah have the right to resist foreign occupiers, marauders, and vandals who destroy their country? I then went on to say, during World War II, to my knowledge, all the Jews of the world were united in supporting Stalin's Red Army as it defeated and expelled the fascist occupiers and destroyers of those countries in Europe. Stalin's record in human rights, well, we all know it. Internal regime, terrible. But is there anyone here that denies the Red Army and the communist resistance the honor it deserves for having defeated the Nazis, for having defeated the fascist occupiers of their countries, for defeating those who wrecked and destroyed, systematically demolished their country? Well, if I'm going to respect and honor Stalin and the Red Army, I will, and I said in the show, I won't be a coward and I won't be a hypocrite. Every victory of the Hezbollah against those foreign occupiers, marauders, and vandals, every victory of theirs, I celebrate. And I won't retreat 1,000 far of one.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for taking the time out on a Wednesday night to be here. Please make sure to check out our flyers in the back. We have Elon Pape and Rachel Corey's parents coming next week. We'll be having a book signing with Dr. Finkelstein right outside, so please head on right out. And we need to exit the room.